Ladies and gentlemen, so you guys have been, well, this is the journey, remember? So today, well, more like yesterday. So today is the 26th of August right now. Yesterday, the 25th, I pretty much got onboarded, got all the things that I needed to do in order to obviously set myself up for success and obviously know a little bit more about the company and the things and the systems and everything that they do and everything but the ICP, right, the ideal client that they're targeting, etc., with this offer. So right now, obviously in the whole system right now, here's some of the calls from some of the previous, he's a closer, but I was able to shadow one of the setters and how they do things here. And man, it looks straightforward, man. It is like the calls are usually take about 10 to 12 minutes, nothing too crazy. With quality leads, like these guys are getting loads amount of leads. Like literally the opt-in was about 200 in there. Literally just the opt-in, like people who opted in that need to be like called in the next, I don't know, next 2 minutes. Then there's 200 of them just in that opt-in, right? Not counting the follow-ups, not counting the ones who maybe talked and they didn't close for whatever reason. So they have a really good lead flow, So now, what's the steps? Literally in my car, I was just a couple days ago, I was thinking about, man, how am I going to do this? How am I getting offered? And trying for like 2 weeks. Not even just those 2 weeks. Before that, I was even trying months. So you guys only seen the 2 weeks that I talked about, but you guys have not seen the 2 months, 3 months that I got into sales, bought a 6K program, in coaching, and how I was trying to get into offers, how I got laid off from other offers, right? And I even quit from some offers because they weren't good and they weren't, enough, right? There's shitty offers and there's good offers and then there's great offers, right? So you just have to find where you kind of fit. Like if you want a shit offer, okay. Like if you're starting out, like having a shit offer is perfect because you're gonna get your reps in. Right now, if you want to go and actually start making some money, then you got to get into a good offer. But that's when you get your reps in the past, right? And you leverage that to be able to get yourself into these positions. I was able to do that. Obviously, I was running an agency back in the day, so this whole thing that they're doing here is the same thing that I was doing. I just didn't have the whole sales process in my agency, and that was my biggest bottleneck. And I think that's the reason. No, that is the reason why I failed, because I didn't know how to build a sales team. I didn't know how to create these SOPs and frameworks for setting and closing, right? I wasn't a leader in that space. So now I'm learning all this when it comes to sales and how to build a sales team. I built a team before on creators, right? Editing, all these things, media buyers, etc. But the most important position I didn't hire for, which was sales. And that is the reason why I failed. And there's other reasons why, of course, but the sales part is the reason why, because that's what drives the revenue, right? And if you're not doing revenue activities that drive the business ahead, then you're gonna fail. And that's what I did. Realizing that now, like after like being in this and being in other offers, I'm realizing that the biggest bottleneck I had was sales. That was the only thing that was missing. Like if I had sales in place, I could have had shit marketing, but if I had sales in place, I could have probably closed some more deals. Right now, I've had the marketing and the sales in place. That's a whole different story. Which I did have my marketing in place. I was getting guys who had 40, 50K a month, that they were earning 40, 50K a month, sometimes even 200K per month. Even some guys that were doing $1 million a year, 1.2 or something like that, like 2 million. However, I didn't know how to be a leader and know the sales process when it comes to setting and closing. And that was one of my biggest bottlenecks, and I'm realizing that now that I'm in here, right? But whatever, I'm gonna teach you guys and show you guys all my errors and everything that I did, that you guys can learn from what I did in my agency, and also teach you guys and show you guys what I've learned now and what I'm doing now to obviously become a really good sales person, whether it comes to setting and closing, but also how to get into these like companies and these offers, because it's very important for you to learn this and be able to be part of a company. Right. So very excited to obviously start this journey. Like I said, here we are. Here's the pipeline, everything. Like literally, I'm gonna start dialing in the next probably 1 hour, 2 hours or something like that, with some old leads, and then hopefully maybe by tomorrow I'll start getting inbound leads. into my calendar, and they're going to be scheduled just like this into my own calendar, right? I'm going to be able to call them, etc., right? When it comes to these offers as well, one thing I noticed, there's so much information, right? I'm lucky enough that I knew about the agency space. I started my own agency. I made money off the agency. I created my own systems, automations. I built my own teams, etc. That coming into this like offers from other offer owners, I get to like see that like I don't need to spend so much time on how they do the marketing, how they get their leads, what does ads mean, what does cost per lead, all these things mean, like all these terms when it comes to marketing and even in sales, because I knew about the sales process, not the sales process, but the sales terms. Even you have to learn the language of the ideal client, your ICP, right? And me, where I was working with real estate agents, I was working with fitness coaches, I was working with painting contractors, knew about the agency space, like e-commerce as well. I did e-commerce, did like 1.2 in like the first week and a half or something like that when I did e-commerce. But there's so much, and I learned all those different types of businesses and learned how to kind of like a little bit speak their language. And now coming into these offers is like so much easier because I'm like, okay, I know about this already. Now I can just really focus on doing my part and becoming that sales rep, the top sales rep, right? And the input, and learned more about the framework, right? When it comes to this, you have to have an open mind, and you have to just, you have to take your ego out of this. Right, you're coming in a team when you're nothing, you haven't done anything, right? Yes, it doesn't matter if I started a business, but you're here as a sales rep, you're here doing this, like you just have to put your ego aside and do your thing, right? I'm going to talk about this later, but I think God humbled me because what I was doing, I think I was putting the business ahead of God. I was putting business ahead of him every single day. The only thing I did was I get up and do the work. That's it. And the only thing with mine was the clients. And I'm going to talk about that in a separate video on maybe the reason why I all failed. Even though I was doing the right things, I failed, right? But anyways, this is day one of being into this offer, of course, and getting that role. Now we're on the road from 0 to 10K per month. Not sure if we're going to be able to do here, who knows, and we still need to get a feel of it, but we'll see, man, we'll see. So stay tuned. I'm going to upload this video as well. I'm going to teach some stuff in this channel as well, the things I learned, and the things I learned in the past already. I invested over 30K, only 20K not per month, only 20K I invested in 2025, 2023, and a little bit 2022. I think in total it's been like 30K plus that I invested into myself and learning funnels, systems, automations, marketing, how to run ads, creatives, angles, offers, all these things, right? Call to actions, and so much. So very excited. I'm going to teach you guys all the things I learned and all the programs that I've been in, and it's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. So stay tuned to the journey. This is day one of being in, sales. And let's get it going, boys.